What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. So over the past 10 to 12 years I've had this love-hate relationship with the iPhone because every year I do buy the latest iPhone. This year I bought the iPhone 13, last year the iPhone 12, the 11 before that and so on. The only two iPhones I haven't had were the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 8, but other than that I've had them all. I still have my old iPhone 6, even though I had to change the battery like 3 times and the screen about 5 times. This phone still works even today, and I believe it still gets some security updates every so often. So quite impressive that a phone this old still works today. So with most iPhones that I buy, I typically regret buying them a week or two after my purchase, because most of the time the new iPhone isn't that much better than the old iPhone. For example, last year the iPhone 12 wasn't that much better than the iPhone 11. The only thing was better last year was the screen, but other than that the iPhone 12 wasn't actually better than the iPhone 11. But this year with the iPhone 13, I feel that things are changed, and this is probably the first iPhone that I don't regret buying. And in today's video I'm gonna tell you why I find this phone so much better than all the previous iPhones. This year with the iPhone 13 we get a brighter screen compared to last year's iPhone 12, so now it's much easier to see this phone outside. Now this year we also get the biggest difference between the regular version and the Pro version, because the screen on the Pro version has a higher refresh rate. But I feel that most Apple users aren't even gonna care about that or notice that difference. So for me personally, I am happy with the screen on the regular 12 and I wasn't willing to spend the extra money for the Pro. So for me the screen on the 13 is a big improvement over the screen on the 12 because of that extra brightness. The notch is still here unfortunately. This year is a bit smaller, but still one of the ugliest faces for any new smartphone in 2021. I'm gonna say because of that ugly notch. But at least the face unlocking works good, and well, that's kind of the main way of unlocking the phone, with the Face ID. So I kind of got used to the ugliness of the notch and the way it kind of goes in my videos when I watch a video on the full screen, but nothing we can do about that, and even with the Pro version you still get the ugly notch, unfortunately. Now the biggest change for me, and probably the most important thing for the iPhone 13, is definitely the battery life. So last year with the iPhone 12 I could never make it through an entire day on one charge. So every day by 8 PM I would have to plug it in because there would be no more power. Well, the iPhone 13 has much better battery life. I can easily get 8 hours of screen time. Sometimes I can even get 9 hours of screen time. So I never have to charge this phone throughout the day. Now, iPhones also charge pretty slow. Some of the slowest devices available in 2021, slower than some budget-friendly devices, but since I don't have to charge it throughout the day, that's okay with me because I just charge it at night when I go to bed. So the battery life on the 13 is definitely the best thing about this phone, at least in my case. Another thing that makes me love this phone even more is the new main camera. Now, if you just take pictures, you're probably not gonna notice a difference between the 13 and the 12. The pictures do look kind of similar, even though now we have some new color profiles on the 13. The same kind of goes for video, for most videos, I'm gonna say. Now, if you do use the phone the way I use it, because I use my phone a lot for B-roll, for a lot of videos, I did notice a massive difference between the 13 and the 12, mostly when I'm holding the phone steady like this. The image isn't as shaky as it was on the iPhone 12. So the new sensor on the back of the 13 is so much better for what I do with my phone. And that kind of brings us to today's video sponsor, which is Roidmi and their cordless vacuum called the X20. So the ad that you're about to see was actually filmed, well, 95% of that ad was filmed on the iPhone 13, just handheld like this. So let's go ahead and check out that short ad and I'll be back right after. Today's video was brought to you by Roidmi's X20 cordless vacuum and mop. So the X20 is a light and portable vacuum that's extremely powerful and can run for up to 65 minutes on a full charge. The motorized brush at the bottom combined with a powerful suction will leave your floor super clean every time. Aside from that, you can also attach the magnetic mopping module and mop the floor as well, so vacuum and mop in the same device. I also love the fact that the brush at the bottom of the vacuum doesn't catch any hair, so you don't have to remove it and clean it constantly like other vacuums that I've tried in the past. The vacuum's suction power can also be adjusted, so there are 3 levels of suction, so you can use it on hard floors or carpets, and you will always have enough suction power so you can pick up everything from the floor. The dustbin is also super accessible and it only takes a few seconds to remove it, clean it and put it back. The same goes for the mopping module. It takes a couple of seconds to remove it from the vacuum. You can either fill it up with water or dump the water out of it if you're done mopping, and you can easily remove the mopping pad at the bottom and wash it once you're done mopping your floors. The X20 is also a smart vacuum, so if you download the Roidmi app and connect to the vacuum with your smartphone, you can find out some useful information about it. The app is available for iOS and Android. So there you have it, this is the Roidmi X20 cordless vacuum and mop, and as always I will leave a link in the video description so you can check it out. And with that being said, let's go back to our regular video. And as you've seen, that footage did look quite good, mostly for being filmed with the phone without any extra lights, because I was just using the lights in the house. So pretty impressive. So for me and my purposes, having this new improved camera and the better battery life makes a massive difference compared to last year's iPhone 12. Because in all honesty, I was kind of hating my iPhone 12 with that horrible battery life, the shakiness of the video when I was filming something with it. So for me, this makes a massive difference. Now, even though Apple says that this phone is also a million times faster than the previous iPhone 12, when you use this phone, there is literally no difference between this and the iPhone 12. So they do behave identical. You can keep as many apps running in the background as you could last year with the iPhone 12. The phone is just as fast as the iPhone 12, so for that nothing has changed, at least in my experience. Of course, it would have been nice to get a new design this year so you can actually feel like you have a new phone, because when I put this in the case, I do have a case for it because I don't want to break it. When I have it in the case, I can barely tell that I'm using the 13 or the 12, so it would have been nice to have a newer design. Now, the 13 Pro does look cooler this year because the cameras are bigger, the phone looks, the new colors that they have look nicer, but I don't think that's worth the $300 extra between the 13 and of course the 13 Pro. Another thing that we get more with this one, with the 13 compared to last year's iPhone 12, is the internal storage. So the phones are kind of priced the same. Well, I think this one is a bit more expensive, a few more dollars more expensive than the 12. But now we get 128 gigs of internal storage. Once again, I was buying the cheapest iPhones in the past. So the cheapest iPhone 12 only had 64 gigs of internal storage. So I was kind of filling that up every couple of weeks, and then I would have to delete a bunch of pictures and videos from it. But that's not going to be the case with the 13. So another thing that makes me happy about the 13, the extra internal storage. So for me and the way I use my phone, those 3 extra things, so the better battery life, the better camera and more internal storage, make a massive difference when compared to last year's iPhone, the iPhone before that, and so on. So that's why I love this phone so much, because it makes my life so much better, my working life, at least, because I do use this phone as a work tool basically. It's not just for enjoyment and taking pictures here and there. So the iPhone 13 is the first iPhone I don't regret buying, and now I'm actually considering buying one that has more internal storage, believe it or not. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful, hopefully you did like it. If you did like it, don't forget to press that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.